Welcome into the DGD Podcast on this Friday night. A little bit of a curveball there, but welcome in, guys. Oh man, boy, we've got a lot to talk about, Keon. Absolutely got a ton to talk about. We got that Go Dogs tweet earlier today with the commitment of Stefan Shivers. I hope I said that right. If it's Steven or Stefan Shivers, big body. Yeah, big body is for sure. 6'4", 350 out of Tennessee, Humboldt, Tennessee. Trey Scott salivating a little bit, you think?
Definitely think he's going crazy on the trail, to be all the way honest. I mean, this is huge. He's huge.
Figuratively and literally.
Both.
Both of
So
them.
I'm really both of them. So I'm really excited to see how he begins to develop in our system. I'm looking forward to it.
Keon, the non-Georgia fans are going to say we just got a 3-star, man. They're like, yeah, what are y'all doing getting a 3-star? I don't know, man. It's just, I guess we don't know how to develop or anything, It's just, don't know what to tell
I
them.
don't know.
I guess we're just reverting to 3-stars at this point.
Yeah, I guess.
But no, yeah, if you watch this kid's highlight tape, it took one play to realize that this kid's an avatar at that weight and size. I just want to let you know.
Talking about a guy that's what, 6'5", 350?
I think so. On 3 has him listed at 6'4", 350, and it probably seems about right.
Right. And if you know what we're talking about his first play being an absolute house call to the crib, to the apartments.
Shocker. Complete threw you off the curve, like just threw you off the loop. Like you're just like, what? Like why are we seeing a running back? And you realize, oh, that's him. Running back? What? And he's pulling away? What? Makes no sense. But now, if you watch that first play, man, and listen, there's more to his highlight tape. I want that to be known. But that 10 yards, boy, that first 10-yard, that's 10-yard split, right? That translates to that 10-yard split.
Mm-hmm.
Freaky stuff.
Get off the ball super quick.
Mm-hmm. Acceleration.
But yeah, no. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing how everything goes with him in our class this cycle. Yet again, top shelf athlete all the way through.
We're gonna preface this, okay? So you're looking at a situation where Stefan Shivers will probably be at the end of this class. Will probably be one of the most overlooked prospects in this class, due to the fact that what Georgia's trying to get accomplished recruiting wise on the defensive line itself. Do not sleep on him though. Okay. Listen, we look at this. We even go back to last cycle, right? Look at this freshman class, right? This past season, you had Damon Wilson, right? You had Sam Mpumba, and you had Gabe Harris. Guess who made the most out of their freshman year on the field?
Let him know.
It was Gabe Harris. You want to know why that's interesting? It's because everyone was talking about Damon and Mpumba. Rightfully so, they're 5-stars. Gabe Harris was more than ready, and you'll see why this year too. Keon? So if you're, just to let y'all know, this is going to be a heavy recruiting show. We're going to give you 2025, 2026. Listen, new quarterback in the fold. All right.
Mm-hmm.
For 2026, we're going to break this down. I'm going to break Faison Brandon. Talk this and break it down. Talk what that means for Georgia. Okay. We're going to do a breakdown on that later in the show. We're going to talk about this 2025 recruiting class starting to shape up, right? Visits are taking place, just took place this past weekend. We'll talk about that. Right? That was a big weekend. We'll talk about that, right? Heavy recruiting show. Listen, and we'll wrap it up with the 2026 class, guys. You know me being from North Carolina. I'm going to tell you right now, North Carolina could be good to Georgia in 2026, and I'll tell you why. But first, guys, first sponsor of the show. Listen, if you don't start your day, every day for that matter, with our friends over at Apotheos Coffee, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's the best coffee in the business, and you're going to be supporting them Dawgs, okay? Located in Kennesaw, Georgia, make sure you keep Jason busy, and I mean extremely busy, by going to our website, dgdpodcast.com, going shopping on Apotheos, finding your coffee that you like. Listen, you cannot find the bad bag. There's not one there. I'll promise you that. I've tried them all. You won't find a bad batch. You won't find a bad blend. I'm telling you that now. So you pick your poison, and you use code CCC, that's CCC, at checkout, and they're going to give you free shipping, and 20% of your order will go to the Classic City Collective. Every bag of coffee that you get, every K-Cup that you get, 20% will go to the Classic City Collective, because our friends at Apotheos are the official coffee and cold brew partners of the collective. Just ask Tate Ratledge. With that being said, thanks Apotheos for supporting the show. And you know I'm going to support y'all too, because y'all have the best coffee in the business. It's not even close. Thanks Apotheos. Keon, I saw that Whataburger, man. I can tell you from Texas. Mm-mm-mm.
You wouldn't believe it. I actually got Apotheos in here.
Really?
Yeah.
Color me shocked.
You know, I'm trying to find a way for me to create like an iced coffee and then kind of pitch this to the beautiful people at Apotheos.
Listen, I guarantee you that iced coffee is a big deal. I'm just a traditional drip coffee, hot coffee every morning. Got my Turks cup every morning. I'm good to go. Good to go.
See me, I like a multi-purpose coffee. Right?
So you seem bougie. I'm just basic. I'm a basic.
Yeah, you are. Bougie. Yeah, I'm bougie with this coffee here, right? And not gonna lie, I'm running low. So
I'll tell you this: regardless whether you're bougie or basic, I'm telling you right now, it's the best coffee in the business. I promise you that. Keon, let's talk recruiting now. Let's get back to business. Recruiting weekend, busy weekend, loaded with talent in this 2025 class, 2026 class, right? So taken away from this past weekend, right? Get those kids in, obviously take a tour of the facilities and stuff, get to watch a practice on Saturday. Sounded like it was pretty violent, physical, right? From a physicality standpoint, typical Georgia thing in the spring. Gotta love it, guys. Gotta love it. You had some top dogs in there. Juju Lewis. You had Elijah Griffin, David. You had them all. The who's who came to Athens this past weekend, and I think Georgia left a good impression on a lot of these guys, right? But let's talk about this 25 class shaping up, right? You got Stephon Shivers, right, and you're looking at a situation. You're looking at a situation where you could potentially be adding a couple other guys on that D line. It'll be interesting. Obviously, this 25 class, in my opinion, is going to be heavy at the edge position, right? I think you're going to see a heavy edge, a loaded edge class, by the way. Bryce Davis went down there. Faison, which we'll talk about in a little bit, went down there. You had, like I said, you had a ton of people there. And I mean, you had Elijah. You had Elijah was down there. It was just, like I said, super loaded, right? But I want to get your opinion, though. Do you think this past weekend moved the needle for anyone specific?
Yeah, I think we had a couple of guys that I think this may have moved the needle for. Potentially Matt Zollers. I'm looking at guys like even Isaiah coming in from edge play or coming in with edge play. Potential. He said he was trying to find the dog in himself. And let me tell you something. Kirby will definitely help you find that dog.
Facts. The puppy who lost his way.
Oh, yeah. They're going to bring him back to the dog house.
Find that fucking dog.
But no, man, I do think it's going to be interesting. I do think we have a lot of qualified and highly talented and touted guys in this class that if we're able to really position ourselves and, make the right moves, they can come in and make a huge impact here at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, I'm looking at Elijah, and obviously you got Justice Terry in the fold, right? That's another name to add besides Shivers as well. Listen, this D-line class is about to be silly, folks. It's about to be silly. It's going to be silly. I think another thing, too, is I think Isaiah Gibson, in my opinion, I think that's telling that he tweeted that out. The timing after the visit, it just makes too much sense, folks. Like, sign that man up to come in and dress up in red and black, and we're good.
He was ready to bark.
Oh, whoa. Could have saved that a little bit. Got to wait for Rudy to come in here before we start barking like that.
But no, I'm excited. I'm excited. This class is going to be very talented,
Mm-hmm.
and you might see some surprises as far as the recruiting class goes for the University of Georgia. Um, some guys that you may have heard some rumblings about in prior classes, just to kind of give you a little foreshadowing. So just stay tuned, man. This is going to be a wonderful ride for dog fans.
Oh yeah. So, um, actually, we're recording at what? This is 10:15 p.m. on the 22nd. Probably a few hours ago. Matt Zollers actually announced he's going to be committing April 4th. So consider yourself potentially on commit watch. It's going to be a big commitment wherever he goes. I think you're looking at Georgia, Penn State, Pitt, the main targets there, Missouri. So, I mean, to me, Keon, listen, and I know everyone and their mama is looking at this quarterback room, and in my opinion, Georgia's going to get either Zollers or Juju. But I'm telling you though, the fact that he's visiting Georgia April 2nd and then committing on the 4th, the, take it for what it's worth. You can clip this if you want. If I'm wrong, so be it. The writing is on the wall. Matt Zollers is going to be a dog,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
tell
going
you
to
this,
listen.
man.
And that's going to piss a lot of Georgia fans off because it's an in-state kid. It's obviously a prodigy at that. But listen, I will gladly take a kid that's elite in his own right and wants to be a dog over a kid that wants to take his time. Listen, it's a cutthroat business. And if you wanted to wait, the problem is if you wait for Juju, because you don't know when he's going to pop. So if you wait, what if you don't get him and you miss out on Zolas, a kid that wants to be at Georgia, that's good in his own right? If you haven't watched this tape, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go watch the kid's tape. Go watch the kid's tape.
Bro,
He's
I'm gonna tell you,
athletic. He's
for
mobile.
for everybody that's sitting here listening to this, I don't know if whether it be you're listening to this live, you're listening to this on some form of a playback or whatever. I'm telling you, I just finished watching Matt Zoller's tape for the first time, not even 10 minutes before this was recorded. This kid is nuts, bro. And I mean absolutely insane. The arm strength and the ball placement that this kid has, not including his mobile ability and being able to move around in the pocket to keep the ball secure. You had design runs for this guy where he is taking off for 30 plus, 40 plus, scoring touchdowns, throwing to the outside hash. You see him make you're watching if you sit down and watch his film, I am telling you, you're watching this kid make NFL throws straight out of the gate. If you have a Twitter, go to Twitter, type in Matt Zollers, click on his profile. He has his tape. I believe it's pinned to his account. That's where I got it. A junior tape. Take a notice on when you watch his film. Watch the whole thing, and keep in mind this guy never had a fumble.
Or at least on the highlight tape.
Yeah,
I
he
will
didn't
say
have a
this.
fumble. He
I will
didn't
say
have a
this.
fumble. And on top of that, you have to keep in mind he's taking off. You're watching him execute on all levels. First, second, third, deep third. Within the first minute of his tape, this kid is hitting like what, a 70-yard bomb?
No, it's up there. Kids got listen. I'm gonna let you describe this because it's so recent to you. But
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. When I took away from his tape, I watched it a while back. 6'3.5", 6'4", about 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Can run, almost
Yes.
like the way I would see it if he were to come to Georgia. He's fast enough to be a threat like Stetson Bennett, but I don't necessarily know you design runs like you would see like a Robbie Ashford, right? Like at Auburn,
Mm-hmm.
where you design quarterback keepers, right? I don't know if you do that per se. I just don't see that in our offense. But the kid can be a threat with his feet, and
Mm-hmm.
it reminds me of Stetson to an extent because Stetson would stay in the pocket, make the throws, but you had to respect his feet, and Matt Zollers can do that. Now, listen, he also has an absolute piss missile on his arm, just nastiness, right? Sheer nastiness. Shout out Brooks also for the 2% shoot. It's probably a 1% shoot in my opinion. Thing is nasty. Um, Extreme ball placement too. Um, Arm strength is there obviously, but when you take that right there, you're gonna get this comparison and you're gonna get this preference on Juju. They're two different quarterbacks, but they're both elite in their own ways. Juju's methodical. All right, we've seen Juju. He's very coachable. It's just literally you. It's like a plug and play type thing. You coach him up, and he does it. Very, he can make all the throws as well. I think, in my opinion, I think Juju's got a little bit better accuracy in more regards to like touch passes and stuff, like layering passes and stuff. Whereas Zollers will just fucking zip it in there, right? Kind of reminds me of Beck with his arm, right? More of a gunslinger coming out of high school. You know what I mean? Obviously, we know Beck can layer passes and stuff like that. That comes with the development. So I think it's we'll say this. I'll say this, Keon, if you want to say it on your behalf too. Expect to get Matt Zollers and not be mad about it. Don't get mad about it. You're gonna hear fan bases, guys. You know this. Bama fans, Auburn fans, whoever. Oh, y'all couldn't keep him in state, this and that and this. You're going to get Matt Zollers, right? You're going to get Matt Zollers. He's going to come in. He's going to compete his ass off. He's going to get developed under Mike Bobo. And you're going to have this situation that you would see with, like you would with Carson Beck when he came in, put his head down, went to work, and developed himself. And then you see him become the quarterback that we wanted to see. And we got to see this past year. And we're going to see this year. Not saying I'm not comparing him to Carson Beck, right? I'm just saying the concept, right? Coming in, wanting to be a dog, competing, doing that right there. Again, at the end of the day, Keon, I would much rather have a guy that is dead set on coming to be a Georgia Bulldog and is ready to pull the trigger and get to work than wanting to sit there and keep waiting it out. Because when it comes to recruiting, sometimes you just can't wait it out. You just can't. Just can't. Because the last thing you want to do is if you're Kirby Smart and you're Mike Bobo, is to go all in on Juju and him still not come. And you miss out on Zollers because you were too far in on Juju. Does it sound familiar?
Dude, I'm gonna just be all the way honest with you. I just look at this guy, and after watching his tape, yet again, I watched his tape right before we recorded this. Within the first minute, I'm watching this kid hit pass, just straight up throw dimes, hit wide receivers on the run, catching them in stride, 75-yard bombs, him moving around in the pocket, being able to fully manipulate it, and really be able to understand the lining of the defense. Keep in mind, people, these passes that he's throwing, some of these passes, these corners are on these wide receivers, hip to hip, almost slow dancing. Okay, they are there.
Listen, I know he's coming from Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania and Georgia are two different states completely. So I understand. But at the same time, how many times do we have these situations where these kids from these other school or other states pan out? Don't let it fully dissuade you what you see, because what you
I mean,
see, is ball placement into tight windows with with zip, with
yeah,
zip,
like these passes that he's throwing, the
dude.
ball,
Dude, it
he's
jumps.
he's
It jumps off his hands. It
he
comes.
is for sure he is pushing this ball
Yeah,
through the air. Like it's one of those ones where I'm just looking at it, and even like I said, you have to respect him being able to be mobile as well. So when it comes to being on the defense and trying to scheme against that, man, everybody has to be disciplined, because if somebody doesn't hit their gap, alignment assignment is so important. Keeping pressure on this guy is so important, because boy, if you don't and somebody slips up, he can tuck that puppy and run. And if he does that, it's a problem.
yeah,
It's a problem for any defense.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
think.
I at this point for me, right, when it comes to the Juju and the Matt conversation, for me, I don't know if you feel this exact same way. Whoever wants to be a dog, come be a dog.
Yeah,
And whoever doesn't, you don't. I understand in-state talent. Get it. I know you just touched on it, Rob. I'm not going to sit up here and reiterate it all, but understand what it is that Georgia would be getting if we do secure a Matt Zollers. I think a lot of people outside of our fan base want to focus in on what we will be missing out on. What we will be missing out on is not more important than what we're getting,
yeah.
especially with the way how Bobo likes to scheme his offense,
He,
especially with the talent level that he would be getting at quarterback, following up Ryan Puglisi. That's huge.
yeah. I mean, you could
It's
also
Ryan
bring him in.
Puglisi already. Yeah, I mean, for the people that are paying attention and that have been, keeping up to date with what's been going on with the Dogs, they're already saying Ryan's got the strongest arm in the room, and he just got here.
Oh boy,
It's insane.
slinging that bitch at practice. Simple as
I'm
that.
telling you.
But ultimately, though, listen, if you don't get Juju, it's not the end of the world. It might
Mm-mm.
sound like it because you're going to hear the trolling and the nonstop complaint. Like, you're going to hear it from opposing fan bases. However, you have already had Zollers in your class. So you'll probably hear that as soon as you get Zollers if you have the right opposing fans. You have those casuals that don't know a god forsaken thing about football. I had to choice words. You see how I did that? I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
Don't know much about football, right? So you're going to hear that. Okay, just let it be. But if and when you get Zollers, be prepared that you're not getting both. All right, so we're letting you know now. I would expect that. That's what I'm anticipating. I'll go ahead and make that call. I think you're getting Zollers on April 4th.
Yeah.
If not, I think that's telling in its own right. So April 4th is going to be an important day for Georgia fans, period, because you're going to find out about your quarterback room in 2025, and it'll
100%.
be very telling. Um,
100%.
Mr. Hightoff, welcome in. Said he's got a good question here, Keon. He's got over under. He loves over unders. Over under five stars ending up in this 25 class. I'm gonna let you
Over.
you think over. Now the question is, depending on the service, how you look at it, right? It is what it is. But if you had to choose over, can you name them?
Zayden Walker, Justice Terry, Elijah Griffin, um, David Sanders, Matt Zoller.
Is Zollers a
Um,
5 star?
I mean, you're top 20 in the nation, so I assume.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just subjective, I suppose. But yeah, I'm with you.
So, where were all the ones I said? I said Sanders, Terry,
Zayden,
Elijah,
Zayden.
Zayden, Matt, and
Okay.
then one extra. Um, oh, we'll throw anybody in from the defense. I mean, seriously.
I think it.
I could see somebody moving into the space of possibly being a
That's the thing.
5-star.
That's the thing. Where we are right now, you're having to predict. You're having to predict people moving up, and that's going to be difficult. So let's just say, based off of what we are right now, like as it stands, March 22nd, the rankings as of March 22nd, over under. You've got over.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think looking at this right here, I think you get Elijah Griffin, Zayden Walker, right? That's 2. Let me see. So Elijah, Justice. I think you get. See, I'm thinking here. So Zayden, Elijah. I'm gonna say under. I think you get like 4. If Elias stays, you got him. Zollers is top 20 is what it said. Let's see. On three has him at 17 overall. So I mean, I guess On 3 rankings would have him as a 5-star, even though it shows 4. I don't understand why there would be 4, but I mean, we'll give it out. So I'll give that. It's top 20. I just don't feel confident with David Sanders. I just don't right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's if we keep in the good spotting of David. I think we could potentially see that.
Oh, it's a Georgia Clemson battle. I think you could throw South Carolina in there, but I think it's Georgia Clemson heavy right now.
No, we'll just keep it between us two. South Carolina doesn't matter. I can see 4 or 5, honestly. Yeah. I think that's a really good question. Well, no, but see, I don't know. I can't take into account of how things are going to finish at the end of the cycle.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just saying, like, keep in mind what we're saying is as it stands right now, the rankings as of March 22nd when we're recording this. I think 5 is a perfect number for the over.
Yeah, I can see us being right at 5 or slightly over.
Yeah, I mean, it's all subjective. I mean, like I said, obviously, stick around for more because as things change, we're going to be talking some recruiting. It's just what we do. But that's a good question, Mr. Hutoff. That's a very good question. Harry Leggy, welcome in. Said just saw the notification. Happy Friday. Oh yeah.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, Josh thinks Clemson takes him. I'm with Josh at this point. I know you might think certain things, but I think at the end, I think Clemson pulls it off. Harry Leggy.
What is Travis Smith rated as?
Probably a 4-star.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I might be wrong. If you want to pull it up, you can. I'm going to read here, Mr. Leggy's comment here. Probably mentioned the commitment of 6'5" Shivers. Yes, we started off with that. Perfect. Apparently, we have a viewer that is informed and understands what it means to watch highlight tape. Watch the film. So good call, Mr. Leggy. That's a good call. Yeah, that was nuts. Nuts.
Another shout outs to Brooks Austin. Shut up and grind the tape. Big believer in that.
You can't underestimate and you can't undervalue that comment, that statement. 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Gotta grind the tape.
I mean, yeah, that and seeing it in person matters too.
That too,
if you can. Now, with that being said, I think it's fun to talk about this, right? There's a new quarterback that has emerged in the 2026 class. Right now, the 2026 class, from the quarterback perspective, will more than likely it will probably be dealt with as a result of what comes in the 25 quarterback class. Right, I think we're all safe to believe that.
Yep.
But I was talking about Faison Brandon. All right, Faison goes to Georgia or goes down to Athens, takes in a visit in. everything like that. Watches practice, all that stuff. Talks with the coaches, watches some film, right? He's kind of noticing a trend here. Gets offered on basically the same day. Boom, done. Didn't even throw. Didn't throw yet. Not on campus, by the way. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they've seen him throw. I know that they've seen him throw, as with a ton of other schools. But basically go down, talk to him, sit with him, talk to him, find out more about the kid. Offers them right then and there. So now you're looking at a situation where you could be talking to Faison, and you also got Jared Curtis in the fold. So 2026 just got interesting, but I'm gonna stick with Faison, and I'll give you an example, and kind of give you a breakdown of what to expect if this is a new name for you. Um, on three rankings popped off their 2026 initial, I think maybe not initial rankings, but updated rankings for 2026. Number one quarterback in the country, second in the state, second player in the state. That's only behind Keon's favorite player, Kendra Harrison, at
Yeah,
11.
I'm gonna be cheering him on no matter what his decision is.
Yeah, that's for another day. Or actually, we'll talk about that too. Um, Definitely going to give him a shout out in just a minute too. But I want to talk more about Faison. Why am I talking about Faison? Well, one, obviously, you know me. I cover Grimsley pretty heavily. I love keeping up with that school. Tons of D1 talent and D2 for that matter too. There's a lot of next level talent. Um, I'm gonna kind of take it back though, Keon. I want to give you a kind of story here. Um, if it makes you feel old, it's back when Jamal Chair was back as a senior.
Mm.
Senior, guys, senior in high school. Um, Go out to a Grimsley practice, and watching Jamal and Bryce Davis. Bryce Davis as a sophomore, I believe it was, and you're like, you kind of just looking down at the other end of the field where the offense is working, and you're like, holy shit, there's this huge kid down there. So I go look, right? I mean, you've got receivers, you got Alex Taylor, Terrell Anderson at the receivers. That's just the two big ones, right? So you're talking to them, go down, and I'm looking at this quarterback, and he's a freshman at this time. So keep in mind, Faison's a freshman. He's probably 6'3" at this time, maybe. I'm like, and I talked to coach, and I'm like, who is that? Like, I was like, huge. What I mean by that is it's noticeable. He's tall, and he's changed his body transformation too. He's 6'4", 191 right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, so we're sitting there, watching him throw, and you kind of just watch the ball come off his hands. Now this is as a freshman, right? So my radar is like, all right, I got to keep up with this. So I find out about him. Moving forward to this past season, right? Going to be the starter. He's a rising sophomore. Go to another practice. Watch him do some 7-on-7. His It shocked me to watch how comfortable he was going through his reads in the 7-on-7 game with the confidence to put the ball into tight windows. And Grimsley's got some good. Listen, Grimsley offense and defense got some good dudes. They got some dudes. All right, one of the best 4A teams in the state. You're practicing against some dudes, okay? But he was effortlessly throwing it up to Alex and throwing it to Terrell, Caden Cato, all these guys. Comfortable, doop, 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 and just going through progressions and looking calm and comfortable, albeit 7-on-7. Then you go to the Rollsville game, right? One of the first big games. You had Mount Tabor. They handle business. Mount Tabor is a really good 4A school up in Winston, by the way. Shmarius Peterkin, Jaden Blair, just to name a couple guys. They handle business. Then they host Rollsville, and they're on the sidelines. And at this point, just making it look easy, right? Shout out my guy Mitchell Summers for 6 touchdowns that game on the ground. But
Sheesh.
yeah, but no, Faison looked comfortable, man. Whether you're rolling out or whether he's always mechanically sound. There's throws. Sure, you're going to have your miscues, right? And throughout the season, listen, his first year starting as a sophomore, starting as varsity. Listen, you don't expect to be perfect, right? But the ability to make all the throws And Jamison Stadium is a massive stadium. So if you watch his tape, and Brooks also perfectly said this last night, when you're watching the tape and watching his highlight tape, if it's filmed at Jamison Stadium, it's so far away. It's super far back. It's a huge stadium. The thing holds 10,000. That's the largest in the state. So what's happening is it doesn't look like the ball's coming off his hands that great because it's so far away. Yeah, don't let that fool you one bit. I can promise you that. He can let that thing go. He's got an arm. I'm telling you that now.
Cannon on him?
I would say so. I don't really want to compare it too much because he's still got some room to grow and develop, in the passing game and everything and strength wise and stuff. But definitely can make the throws. Very good mechanics too. Even rolling out, it's always setting his feet to make throws, right? And that's something that's when you're in the game, that's somewhat hard to deal with. You see a lot of quarterbacks try to make off balance throws. He always makes the effort to get his feet in the ground to throw. Sometimes you'll see him. Now, sometimes there was one pass. I forgot. Was it? I think it may have been. I forgot what game it was, but it was to. I want to say Alex, AT. Kind of running, his feet were at the sideline, and he got his right hip around, and just bulleted that thing in there with his feet still sideways, but he just got his hip around it and just let it go. Just flicked it right in there for a tutty. Those are the things, guys, that make a 5-star quarterback.
No, for real.
But what I also didn't say was his mobility. To be 6'4", he's 191 right now, to be specific. There were several plays where he can pull it and run, and he was breaking long runs. He's very quick, very mobile for a 6'4" quarterback, which is something you don't necessarily put 2 and 2 together with, if you will. You got your – Faison's like that.
This guy has the greatest name I've ever heard in my life.
Dude.
Faison is crazy. That's
name.
a crazy good name, man.
It's a damn good name. Yeah, that's a top-notch name. We'll leave it there.
Shout outs to Faison, man.
But no, it's just one of those things, man. Like, it's just me kind of reminiscing on it, just watching him go through practices and grinding and developing, hitting the weight room, right? Watching him lift, all this stuff, man. Like, now at the same time, he's still got to keep. He knows this. We've talked about it. Just keep pushing your head down, keep grinding, right? Because it's never guaranteed that it's going to stay that way. He knows that. Just keep getting better, right? So that's, to me, it's going to be interesting to see how he evolves, right, as a more experienced quarterback this season. Really looking forward to it. I think with Alex Taylor, Terrell Anderson going to UNC and NC State respectively, I think it's going to put more. I think there's going to be an added little bit of pressure from him being the experienced quarterback to distribute the ball. You still got Mitchell Summers, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
A side note: if you're college, if you just offer this kid, Jesus Christ, just offer that kid. You're going to get yourself a fucking animal. Work ethic, tenacity. Listen, he might be small, but that kid runs hard as shit. I'm just going to let that be known there. But no, Faison, well-deserved on the number 1 quarterback in the country on 3. Definitely looking forward to see. But I think the question that Georgia fans might be wanting to know is how things stand with Georgia right now. It's a good offer. I'm going to leave that there. It's a good offer. But things are kind of like it's still early. Listen, I mean, obviously being up here in North Carolina, you're going to have the ability to go to places like NC State and UNC. So you're going to, by default, kind of get there and go there easier, quicker. So you might see more visits there. But I would expect Georgia being in on this one hard. It's telling. You don't even have to throw on campus to get an offer. That matters. Just think about it. When you have
– yeah, no, if you didn't have to throw –
Think about this.
That's one of those ones. To me, that the way how I look at it, Rob, is I think that's a situation where, you have Mike Bobo and the guys. They really trust the tape. They look at his measurables. You have to thoroughly trust the eval. I feel for any team. Let me say that for any team in college football to just watch your tape, not even get you to practice, not even get you to work out, and offer.
Well, keep in
That
mind.
means you're putting some great things on
Well,
tape.
think about it this way: Puglisi walks in to Athens, walks into Tuscaloosa, throws, gets an offer right away. Faison didn't even throw; just talked to the just talked to the staff, and got an offer that day.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Um, yeah, I think that matters, right? Like the one thing that I think can translate and what might help Georgia is the Grimsley offense and Georgia's offense. They're not the same, but there's concepts and you know I, there's concepts and things like that that are somewhat similar how they run the offense. Now, one of the things that I will say, and I want to preface this by saying when you have Alex Taylor and you have Terrell Anderson, you don't necessarily need to do this as much. But I think this upcoming season you're going to see on the highlight tapes more in the middle passing, right? Passing in the middle. Uh, Again, when you've got Alex Taylor and Terrell Anderson, I'm going to say this again and one more time. You don't necessarily need to throw it in the middle if you get where my drift.
Yeah. I mean, just aim for the end zone.
Yeah, just throw it up.
No,
Terrell Anderson bodies somebody. It happens all the time. I've seen it too many times.
but I do want to switch the conversation here. I do see a comment says I want to see Hall and Miller dominate. They really need to take a next. Really need to take the step come September. I think that's. I think it's going to happen. Honestly,
Well, you need them to.
yeah,
We'll
you
switch it over.
definitely
You'll
do.
need them
But
to.
just to see how Christian Miller has been able to, transform his body. I mean,
No,
just
I
seeing
mean
him,
you want them.
seeing him working out as
You want
well.
Kristen healthy. That's the thing. You want Kristen healthy.
Yeah,
Jordan Hall. You want to make sure the mental capacity is expanded and allowed to soak in the playbook. I think that's what you're going to look at because he's athletic enough.
100%.
So I mean, and Mr. Leggy over here says the Clemson offensive line is it's patchwork. You're being nice, but we'll provide a good test for our defensive line rotations. I think you're going to get rotations regardless. You're going to get them regardless. We've seen that through practices so far. You're hearing about it, right? For the most part, you're hearing about John Brinson getting paired up. You're hearing about Jordan Hall and Nazir Stackhouse getting paired up, right? It's by design that they're getting paired up because you're getting bigger bodies with athletic techs around them, right? Like the John Brinson. That shit's nasty just thinking about that, right? Big body with Jamal paired with a super, I'd say probably one of the more athletic, defensive tackles that we've gotten in Warren Brinson. That's going to allow Warren Brinson to be more athletic and create mismatches, right? It's the same thing with Nasir Stackhouse. Put him pretty athletic. It's more athletic nose tech with a big body in Jordan Hall.
Yeah.
It, the defensive line rotations are going to be by design, and it's going to create havoc in spades, I would say.
I'm really excited to see how the different packages are going to be used when it comes to our defensive line room.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially hearing things from, reports on how Samuel Mpemba is taking steps and moving in the right direction. Seeing Gabe is there as well. Um, I'm really excited to see how the season will not only play out, but not even just the season, really. G Day.
Yeah.
G Day.
Well, we talked about those four guys. I didn't even mention, motivated, dedicated. MD says TID got to stay healthy. I didn't even mention Xavier McLeod.
Right.
Didn't mention Namdi Boko and maybe running with the threes or fours. You never know. Getting his feet wet. But I mean, you went outside a little bit. I decided to revert back inside into where the big boys play. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at all across that defensive line, and guys, listen, edge play, right? Whether it be at Jack or right out, whatever you want to look at, you got a bunch of sophomores right now, and we've said this before, Keon. The sophomore class is the class that everyone's going to be having their eyes on, needing to step up. That's Jamal Jarrett. That's Impemba. That's Damon. That's right. Gabe Harris, Jordan Hall. Dude, that class, that class was something where year in the system. Now you're going to sit there and watch these guys grow, and this is the time for that sophomore class, and it's a loaded one too. Let's
100%.
give a shout out to our second sponsor, Ken. What do you say?
Hey, shout outs to them, Alumni Hall. Yet again, best Bulldog gear you can possibly find. Taking over from the 99s to the 2040s. Alumni Hall, located in Athens, GA. That's where we play. Yet again, 1791. And let it be known that you're a supporter of the DGD podcast at checkout in store. Receive extra discounts. What are the discounts?
I'll
I
tell you
don't know
this.
about them discounts.
Nah, go to dgdpodcast.com and click any of the links that we've got to shop Alumni Hall, and the percentage will go. We will send the percentage to the Classic City Collective. So
Yes, sir. Shout outs to them as well.
yeah, so the more you buy, the more percentage of that your order will go to the collective. That's on behalf of us. So support them. You're going to support the Dawgs, so we're going to make sure that that's the case. So go to dgdpodcast.com, support Alumni Hall, use those links there, get you some new gear, Nike. Hey, listen. It's getting to be summertime. It's spring right now, but summer's coming around the corner. Go ahead and get yourself geared up. Keep it on the lookout. New polos for work.
Yep.
New nice Nike shirts. Keep you warm. Keep you dry. Maybe see some Air Maxes again.
No, seriously, I need to buy another pair. So like, this is not even like it is a sponsor, but like for real, Alumni Hall, I need y'all to really fill up on those.
But yeah, no. Stay tuned. We'll let you listen. That's why you follow us on social media too, because we can let you know when things happen or when they're about to happen. Like them Pegasus shoes, if you like them, we'll let you know when they're getting ready to come out too. But you gotta follow us to find out. Let's get back to it, man. Let Mr. Leggy and Josh have a good conversation here. Josh got a comment. How about CJ Allen wearing that heavy number 3? Big shoes, Alastair and Smith. Talking about Roquan to Phil wearing that number. Part of the spring practice, you did see some name changes, new numbers for the new transfers and early enrollees. So that was fun. What are your thoughts on CJ Allen wearing number 3? Do you see a Roquan, mini Roquan?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I actually do. Honestly, I think he's so talented. I think he's honestly one of the talented. Honestly, I think he's one of the most talented guys in the country when it comes to his skill set, what he can do at his position, and how he goes about impacting the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not only a gamer, but a game changer for sure. I am excited to see what he does. Man, to put on that 3, that means something. That means something.
Yeah, it does.
Just like the meme says, that shit means something to me, man.
I will say it will be nice to watch a linebacker roaming around with a number 3 on. That will be fun to watch. It will definitely be number 3. Definitely be fun to watch. Let's see. We've talked about 2026. Oh yeah. By the way, I talked about Faison. And Keon, we talked about Kendra for a second. By the way, you ready for this fun fact? I told you about this, but guys, Kendra Harrison is a 5-star athlete in both basketball and football. But what makes that even better, this is the fun fact. Reidsville was where he's out of high school, was a state champion in the 2A region, the state champion in football and basketball, same year.
Mm.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir.
And those are just two names. Excuse me. Those are just two names in this 26 class up here in North Carolina, man. Listen, I know Georgia goes national. Okay, I know this. But I guarantee you there's going to be some kids in this 26 class that Georgia's going to push for up here in North Carolina. And they're going, and now, depending on the position, you can see them pushing hard or not. It is what it is. But the options are here. All right, you got Kendre. You've got Faison. You've got Samari Matthews over at Huff, DB. You've got, you might ring a bell here, folks, Thomas Davis Jr. at Weddington. If you're curious why I say that rings a bell, it's because his dad was Thomas Davis. Right? Yeah. Brody Keefe, listen, here's a receiver. A little bit lower on three, guys. On three. Rusty, look at me. I
Come
think
on,
you need to
Russ.
bust it up a little bit. All right, bust it, bring it up a little bit. I promise you. Listen,
Pump it up.
if you're getting recruited primarily by Heartline, you got an offer already as a sophomore to play receiver at the University of Ohio State. Yeah, that tells me what I need to know. Yeah. MD says Thomas Davis Jr. I feel old. Listen, kick and fucking ball. Get him ball.
You know what kid, and I don't know if he's in this cycle or next, but I saw that we offered him, and I think he's in this cycle. That made me feel old, like really, really old. I just
you talk
turned
about Eugene. You talk about Eugene Hilton, ain't you?
Fam. What? Like what? Eugene? That's crazy. It feels like TY was just, it feels like it was just 5 years ago his dad was in the league. Not even.
Yeah, I know,
and,
right?
and now his son is about to go to college. Where has the time gone?
I'm gonna list a couple more names up here, okay? I think these kids deserve it. So I've already mentioned Kendra and Faison. There's another kid out of Weddington, Aiden Harris, 6'3", 240 D line. I talked about Nnamdi Egboko, right, Keon? Well, his little brother is 2026 offensive tackle. He's in this class as well. Pierre Dean up here out of West Forsyth and Clemens up here near Winston-Salem. Also the school that Jared Wilson came from. Yeah, think about that. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so Brody, check this out. Brody Keefe, right? Brody Keefe is ranked 266 to the on-3 rankings. Guys, do better. All right, I know you can do better. It'll come. Yeah, there's some more kids out here, man. It's nice. Aaron Tate, brother Barry Tate, went to Campbell. The kid's ridiculously fast. A lot of speed and size in this class, guys, up here. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll leave it there. This class is going to be loaded for North Carolina. Listen, Georgia, you're going to get kids from Georgia, Florida.
You know what, Rob? At this point, we really have to name this episode the North Carolina Bulldogs, because this is it's a lot of them.
Are you saying the NCDGDs? No, that's kind of heavy praise for a kid that ain't committed yet. But
no, bro, I'm telling you,
potentially, there's some dogs out here, though. I'll say that.
No, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, man. I mentioned Caden Cato. That's a kid that I think this year will probably break out, be one of Faison's better options, and you'll start to see him get some love too. I'm just getting a feeling for that. Yeah, just getting a feel for that. Now there's more. Listen, there's more guys out there, but that's just one name that I know that's going to stick out. The kid can move and he can catch. He's good. He's good at growth. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Keon, any final thoughts, man? I see. Apparently, we're not the only ones feeling old. We're hearing Thomas Davis Jr. Man, it makes you
Dude,
feel bad.
that's like T.Y. Hilton was
By the way,
honestly
by the way,
one of my favorite wide receivers when he was playing.
yeah, Thomas Davis Jr. at Weddington, current 4A state champs. So there you go.
Crazy.
hmm
But final thoughts.
Final
Yet
thoughts.
a- yet again, anybody who hasn't watched Matt Zollers tape, I'm heavily recommending it. As soon as we cut this podcast, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and rewatch it. I'm telling you, within the first 60 seconds, mark it. Within the first 60 seconds, you were going to watch this kid throw. I would like to say it was like a 75 yard bomb within the first 60 seconds. Throw on the run, be able to throw and, hit players on the outside hash across the field. Like, this kid is a true baller. Okay. And he can move. And I like the way he moves.
I like
No
it.
Andre 3K.
Oh man,
I'm
don't get.
telling you.
Come on, man. Why
You
you gonna
see,
do
see,
that? I need
see.
3 stacks, man. Give me 3 stacks. Come on now.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But
Can't be
certified baller, can't wait for it.
playing
Looking
with my
forward to
emotions.
seeing how this goes. But overall, man, go dogs.
Yeah, listen. You're gonna get the quarterback room is gonna be set one way or another, right? Um, 2025, like I said, I don't see the quarterback room getting past Zoller slash Juju. Okay, just I'm gonna let you know that right now. You got Montgomery. I, I think it's those two, and then there's a sizable gap. That's just me. So I think you either get Zollers or Juju. You heard what I said earlier. That's my prediction. But
Yeah,
then in 2026, now you've got more than just Jared Curtis on the board. And for me, I cannot be more ecstatic because you're going to get a heavy dose of Grimsley this year. And
100%.
honestly, I can't wait to see all the attention that Grimsley comes in when you have that level of a quarterback. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Other than that, though, I think that's all we've got. Listen, make sure support our sponsors, Apotheos, Alumni Hall, and you can do so checking out dgdpodcast.com. Guys, that's the key. It starts there. You can shop Alumni Hall. You can shop Apotheos. Triple C at checkout for Apotheos. Get you 20% to the collective, right? They send 20%, get you free shipping. Or use the links, get you some merch, get you some stuff from Alumni Hall. We will do the dirty work for you by sending a percentage to the collective. Guys, we're here to support them dogs. And if that means we got to do what we got to do, we're going to do that. The Classic City Collective supports them. We support the Classic City Collective. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. With that being said, Keon, send us out.
If you're not a Georgia fan, if you don't scream "Go Dogs" on Saturdays in the months of football season, I got something to tell you, and you just got to accept it. Your team is trash, and you have to deal with that. Thank you and goodbye, America, and go dogs.
Go dogs.